Well, our up-tempo has been in progress, and we've added a couple different formations to the up-tempo, which as fast as you can get it, the fastest way you can do it is stay in the same formation. All you're going to do is change the hash depending on where the ball ends up, and every single player should be looking to the sideline, and it's a pretty fast tempo, and we've added a couple different formations that should give it a little bigger impact into our total offense. And we did use it quite a bit. We also slowed it down, and we did huddle up. So we had a mixed bag actually last weekend, and we were able to get 90-some plays off. So that's been a goal, and if you can get close to 90 plays, you're going to have a lot to evaluate. And I believe that's how our players will get better. The more plays they play, the better they'll get. Still have some young players. Still have an offensive line that's starting to gel. Not quite there, and I think that type of offense helps them become better football players. Well, I think critique, again, the offensive line, as I just said, we're gelling. We're not there yet. Receiver-wise, if we could stay healthy and have our whole crew together, I think I'd be fairly pleased with their progress. But it seems like every week there's a key player that's not playing, whether it be Sam or Jabin's not quite healthy, those types of things. I'm very happy with what the defensive line's doing. But again, challenge them to tackle better. And I know I got a guy sitting right next to me, and he's going to hear that. Right? Yep. And catch the ball better. Yeah. Those types of things. And again, as a coach, you're a perfectionist. That's all you want is perfection. And somehow I haven't got that from the players yet. Yeah, we actually will. We're taking that video on the road with us. We'll have some fun with it in Portland. I mean, there's Grizzlies all over the place making big plays, and I want our players to see that, because what a play! I mean, what an outstanding play. And there's some other guys doing some great things at the next level, and Feather's going to watch that and see how to catch the ball. Exactly. They're a fast starting team. I mean, last year, boy, it was, I think, 14-0. Real early in the first quarter. They did the same thing back in Bozeman, and tremendous quarterback. I mean, he's, the answer to, I think, what they're trying to do on offense is Kavanaugh, the quarterback. I had a chance to watch him as a player at Lincoln High School in both football and basketball when I was at Oregon. We were recruiting him a little bit for a while. I'm not so sure that we shouldn't have offered him at Oregon. And tremendous player in the pistol offense. He went 70-some yards in Bozeman on a quarterback draw, and he can score at any time. Very, very good athlete, runs the offense very well. And McCaffrey, I think the running back, I also had a chance to see him when he was at Sisters High School, small school in Oregon. Again, we thought he could play safety at Oregon for a while. We were on him pretty hard and didn't pull the trigger, but I think it's been Portland State's gain. Outstanding players on that football program. What Bryce gives us is that guy that has the ability to play all 4 different receiver spots. He's an intelligent football player, and again, as I said in an earlier conference, wish he could have redshirted last year. He would have had 4 years. He's got 2.5 years is all he's got left now, looking at the calendar. But he's made big plays. Needs to improve his blocking a little bit on the perimeter, and him and Antoine Moutre have been really the steady eddies of that receiver core, and I'm very pleased with those 2 players. I think continuity, for one thing. We're kind of becoming on the same page. I think, we had absolutely none on defense, no defensive penalties last game, which was great. We've had some personal fouls that, looking back, you want a player to be aggressive in the game of football, and you don't want to hold that back. There is a fine line there, and a couple of them were judgmental, of course, but you're never going to win that battle. I think that you want to have an attacking style of defense. That's what we want to have here. So you're probably going to have to live with a few of those. I hope they're all done. I hope we've lived with them and learned, and we're going to move on. And boy, if we can keep it where it is, I'd be very, very pleased with that. And like Justin said, if we could cut down the turnovers. You know, that's going to help us. It's going to help us have more chances in field position areas and to hold on to the football and have more opportunities to get some points on the board. Tyrone, we probably will not. You know, he's got a pretty severe shoulder injury. I expect Tyler Hobbs to come back and play. To what degree, I'm not sure, but I think it's really hard to keep. Going to be hard to keep Tyler Hobbs out of the football game. I mean, he's anxious. He's to the point of being obnoxious. I mean, he wants to play, and he's kind of like a wounded grizzly that's ready to do some battle somewhere, someplace, and it's going to be in Portland. Excuse me, Hillsboro. Well, I think Nate Oden was the first one I'd ever met. You know, 8-man. You know, I didn't know anything about 8-man till I actually came to the University of Montana, and you know, his brother played for us as well, and when you see Chase and Alex Verlanik, I mean, you kind of go, wow, 8-man, you know, what was it really like? And we joke around about it a lot, but, you know, football's football, you know, and it's like Rope's last question, I think, you know, you have to realize there's that team you're preparing for is trying to stop those routes that, you know, that we threw to Greg, or they're trying to stop Chase Reynolds, and they're trying to take your head off every single play, so those are the things that a lot of people don't realize, I think, that unless they played the game or been involved as a coach. And, you know, those are things you try to avoid. And whether it's 8 defenders or 11, it's the same situation because they're all trying to take your head off. A couple of years, come on. No, you know, every single second I was at Portland State, whether it was a student athlete or a graduate assistant or a full-time coach, I loved every second of it. You know, that was my home. That's where I chose to go, and that'll always be there in my DNA, so to speak. And I'm excited to play against Portland State. I really am. Excited to coach against them, and they're a quality opponent. There's no question. Their team speed's increased from last year, and like we said, they got out on us early last year, and we had to come storming back. So we expect a dogfight. We really do, and but we're excited to go play them, and you know, be excited to see some family and friends. Like Justin said, there'll be family and friends in the stands and on the sidelines, and some former Grizzlies. You know, there's like we've talked about, there's some population base over there. There's some former players that coach over there that, you know, we'll definitely welcome them on our sidelines and be able to see and talk to them about where our program's headed. You know, they're coming together. I know they had such a tremendous start in Bozeman, and then that kind of fell apart on them. And again, that was due to turnovers, and it was kind of the mirror of us a couple different times, and we've been able to weather the storm. And a couple times we didn't weather the storm, and I think it's a process. You know, anytime there's a change in a staff, I think he brought in, everybody was new except one coach he retained. So there's a lot of new nameplates on the doors and a lot of new people in the lockers. So that takes some time.
We need Tyler Hobbs. You know, he's a big backbone of our defense. You know, he's a very vocal player. He's our senior captain. You know, we chose him to be our captain for a reason, and he's working hard right now, getting rehabbed, and hopefully he gets back soon. But you know, it's just going to be another addition to our D line. But you also got to you got to thank the corners and the safeties and the linebackers with the coverage that they're being able to give us to give the time to get that pass rush and making that quarterback double pump, and it gives us that extra second to get that sack or a pressure to help them get on a jump on a ball. So it's everyone's working together, and Tyler Hobbs, when we get him back, it's going to be another addition to our D line, and we'll be even stronger. You got to do your assignment on your defense and do your 111th. If you try to do a little bit more than that, that's where you can get beaten. That's where a quarterback, like with those special talents, that can beat you on something where you think you can make a play, turn your shoulders, he gives him a crease, and there he goes. You just have to do your job. And with our defense, knowing that everyone else on the field is doing their job, it's kind of nice knowing your 111th is getting done and that they're doing their 111th. So help contain those quarterbacks and stuff like that. We just have to go one game at a time right now. And even if it's home or away, we have to take each team like it's every game is the same. It's gonna be nice to have a little fans in Oregon also. Oregon's a little have a bunch of Grizz fans there. So I remember when we played at PGE Park when I was a freshman, and we had a lot of Grizz fans. And you just got to go into each game, home or away, and just attack it the same and prepare. We have to go on the road, but we also have the preparing in the hotel and on the plane or the bus trip, and just take those steps, I guess.
Yeah, I think us as a tight end as a whole group, we're really striving to get to where Coach Pflugrad wants us to get. I mean, as reading coverage, eyes up, being able to get in that hole or that crease and find our job, you'd say, in this offense. And I think it's really coming together. I mean, I believe as us tight ends, we have some speed too. So, I mean, that helps. We can get some mismatches here and there, we feel like. And last game, I'm happy that we got a little more involved in the offense, and I hope that continues. So, and hopefully we keep, what would you say, helping out the offense and what we can do, for sure. He's come along really well. I mean, he came in. It's not his first rodeo. He started as a true freshman, I believe, in Washington, and I mean, you can tell he's a really good player. I think as him coming in late, we're just as a group starting to gel. Like last year with Dan and Steve, we were a pretty close group, and I think we're getting back to that. And yes, he is helping this football team, so it was a good pickup for us. I wouldn't say it was ever a two-headed. I think Andrew Sell always had his way on how we responded to him as in the huddle, and now it's the same with Roper. Now we know he is our guy, and in the huddle, he's very precise in what he wants and what he sees, and we have trust in him that when he throws that ball or hands the ball off, it's going in the right place. So we're ready and stepped up, and we're going to battle for him just like we did Andrew. So
I don't remember much from last year because I was out by the fifth play with a concussion. But they like to play a lot of man coverage. They tried to play some man coverage against Oregon, and they had some early success with them. And stopping some big third down conversions, and especially in the red zone, they're pretty good defense. So they've got some pretty athletic players, like Coach said, and some guys in the linebacker core that can run and make some plays. So they force you to really be efficient and to not make mistakes. So that's what we'll be focused on doing.
As an offense as a whole, right?
Definitely a lot of improvements since Cal Poly, I think, for sure. We're still struggling in turnover department, so most of that's probably my fault, especially last game. And but we've cut down on penalties a lot, and we've cut down on the turnovers, and just overall mental mistakes we're trying to clean up. We've done a lot better job of that. It was nice because I really liked. I mean, it's nice to go back to Oregon. I also have a lot of friends in the stands, and it'll be nice to actually get to play them this time. But I mean, it's another game, so it's just another defense for me. So I just focus this week in practice and getting better. And Craig's kind of been my third down guy the last couple of weeks. It feels like. I think that's why he got the game ball this week. Is almost all of his catches, maybe all of his catches, came on third and long, or big plays, and we finally got one of our communication issues settled that game too. I threw a pass against Western State, and then the next time we had the same play, he saw something different and then didn't look, and it was intercepted against Cal Poly, Sac State. And then this time he looked, and we hit it for another gain on third and I think 8 or so. So it's been nice. Those are the kind of things that I've been pretty excited about, the progression of how the receivers and all the communication deals and getting on the same page with these guys. And it's really coming along well. And he was big for us on third down. Had some really good blocks in the running game also. So it's nice to get the big guys some love too.